The Grand Hall of the Galactic Council buzzed with voices as representatives from dozens of star systems gathered to honor the victor of the war against the Shadow Fleet. Banners of bright colors hung from the high arches and the polished marble floor reflected the glow of the crystal chandeliers. At the center of the hall stood the human soldier, his uniform simple but immaculate, his posture straight with pride and humility woven together. For months, he had led Earth's forces against overwhelming odds. Now he faced a reward that would change his life forever. As the council's leader stepped forward to speak, a hush fell over the room. The leader's voice echoed off the walls, announcing that the soldier could choose any alien princess from among the allied worlds to accompany him as a gesture of unity and respect. Murmurs rippled through the assembly at this rare honor. Many expected him to select a princess from a powerful empire, someone whose influence would strengthen the bond between Earth and a dominant star nation. All eyes fell on him, waiting. For his choice, the soldier paused, looking out at the rows of jeweled crowns and silken robes. He saw pride, confidence, and the silent weight of expectations on every princess's present. Yet his gaze drifted to a quiet figure standing at the back of the hall. She was slender, almost frail in appearance, dressed in simple robes of pale silver that hinted at faded grandeur. Her shoulders hunched slightly, and her eyes held a mixture of fear and determination. She seemed almost invisible among the more powerful royals, but to the soldier, she stood out with a gentle honesty that called to him with calm certainty. He stepped forward and extended his hand to the weakest princess. A gasp rose from the crowd as cameras and datapads recorded the moment. The princess's eyes widened, and her cheeks flushed with a soft rose glow. She hesitated, but the soldier's steady gaze and small encouraging smile gave her courage. She placed her delicate hand in his, and a ripple of astonishment washed over the hall. As they walked together toward the grand exit, the soldier felt the princess's hand tremble lightly in his. He squeezed it gently and whispered, "I promise to keep you safe." She nodded, her voice barely a whisper, "Thank you." Behind them, shocked whispers swirled like leaves in a storm. Some questioned his judgment, while others wondered at his reasons. None could predict the journey that lay ahead. On the ramp leading to the soldier's personal shuttle, attendants knelt to offer travel gifts and protective charms. The princess looked at each token with curiosity. A small device meant to map the shuttle's interior, a ribbon woven from the strongest metal threads of her home world. A vial of water from a sacred spring, all symbols of power and status. She smiled politely but seemed uncertain how to carry these marks of esteem. The soldier noticed her discomfort and slid the vial into his own pocket, saying, "I will look after these. You need only focus on traveling." The princess's relief was visible in her soft exhale inside the shuttle. The cabin was modestly furnished with sleek chairs and a console for navigation. The princess paused at the threshold, her eyes tracing the smooth contours of the controls.
House.
She looked at the soldier, who gestured to a seat by the window. She settled there, folding her hands in her lap, still absorbing the reality of her selection. The shuttle engines hummed to life, and they both felt the gentle vibration as the craft lifted off. Through the viewport, the council hall shrank into a tapestry of light and color. The soldier watched the princess's profile as she gazed at the stars. He recalled how she had remained still during the council's chatter, listening instead of speaking. There was thoughtfulness in her eyes, a quiet intelligence that did not demand attention. He thought back to the battle itself, when he first learned of her existence. Reports had described her as weak, a princess of little value in negotiating alliances. Yet whispers suggested a secret behind her serene facade. He vowed to learn the truth. As the shuttle glided through the void, the princess finally spoke. Her voice was soft, like wind brushing over distant dunes. "I have not traveled much beyond my home moon," she said. "I did not expect to leave it so soon." The soldier nodded. "Many worlds await you now," he replied. "You will see wonders you never imagined." She smiled faintly, then paused before asking, "Why did you choose me?" The soldier turned to face her. The cabin lights cast gentle shadows on his face. "You showed courage when others did not," he said. "In the hall, you did not hide behind titles or demands. You stood quietly, watching. You held yourself with dignity, even when you feared the moment. The princess looked down, her cheeks coloring deeper. "I was afraid," she admitted. "I thought I would disappoint the council." He shook his head. "You have already shown strength by being honest about your fears." Their conversation flowed easily after that. The princess shared stories of her world, a planet with silver, forests, and floating rivers of light. She spoke of traditions that valued wisdom over strength, art over conquest. The soldier listened with genuine interest, realizing how little he knew of cultures beyond his own. He told her of Earth's simple joys: rain on the window, the scent of fresh bread, laughter around a campfire. She laughed softly at his description of Earth's rain season, imagining dancing droplets on shy green leaves as they approached their first destination. The soldier briefed her on the journey ahead, a visit to the floating city of Aurora, where they would announce the new alliance. He explained the protocols, the dignitaries they would meet, and the public appearances expected of them. The princess absorbed every detail with a focused expression. The soldier admired her dedication. She might not have the muscle or command of others, but she possessed a rare adaptability. When the shuttle finally docked at Aurora's crystalline port, the princess straightened her posture, smoothing her robes. The soldier offered his arm, and she accepted with a graceful nod. Together, they stepped onto the gleaming platform. Cameras flashed, crowds cheered, and pundits raced to record the unprecedented choice of Earth's greatest hero. Yet in the princess's eyes, the soldier saw not fear but a spark of excitement. They walked forward into the unknown alliance of worlds, hand in hand, their footsteps echoing lightly across the marble floor. Onlookers whispered and wondered, but the soldier and princess moved as one. They both sensed that this journey would reveal truths about courage, loyalty, and the surprising power that lies hidden within the weakest among us, and that the reason behind his choice would astonish the galaxy. The shuttle doors slid open with a soft hiss, and the human soldier led the alien princess onto the crystal platform. The air smelled of ozone and sea salt. Below them, the floating city of Aurora gleamed like a jewel hung in the sky. Of glass and metal rose from the water's surface, linked by transparent walkways and lit by soft white lamps. Gondolas hovered between the spires, guided by silent grav drives. Crowds had gathered to witness the arrival of Earth's hero and his chosen companion. The princess paused at the edge of the platform, her pale silver robes shifting in the gentle breeze. She had never seen a city float. Her heart beat faster, but she held the soldier's arm firmly. He offered a calm smile, and she nodded, stepping forward. Reporters and dignitaries waited with cameras, recorders, and bouquets of silver flowers. The city's mayor, a tall woman with skin like burnished copper, bowed deeply. She spoke in the common tongue. "Welcome to Aurora, honored guests. Your presence brings hope to us all." The soldier inclined his head, and the princess curtsied, her movements graceful despite her nerves. As they walked toward the grand hall, the princess studied the crowd. She saw children pressing against the railing, their eyes wide with wonder. Merchants sold floating lanterns and turquoise trinkets. Ambassadors from other worlds greeted them with polite bows. The soldier introduced the princess as Princess Selena of Varith, though he quietly whispered in her ear, "You may simply be called Selena here." The princess smiled at the simplicity of his words. She felt relief that she did not have to carry heavy titles. Inside the grand hall, walls of clear crystal arched overhead. Light filtered through, casting rainbows on the marble floor. Rows of seats encircled a raised dais, stood chairs for the honored guests. The princess's heart fluttered as she realized she would sit beside the soldier in front of hundreds. She took a deep breath, smoothing her dress, and walked with measured steps. The soldier lifted her hand, guiding her to her seat. She offered a small nod of thanks. The ceremony began with music, soft strings, and chimes that echoed like water droplets. The mayor spoke of unity, peace, and the victory over the Shadow Fleet. She praised the soldier's bravery and the princess's courage in traveling so far from home. When she finished, the crowd erupted in applause. The princess's cheeks warmed, and she glanced at the soldier, whose steady gaze gave her confidence. He reached out and brushed a strand of hair behind her ear. After the speeches, the soldier and princess moved through the crowd for greetings. Ambassadors whispered thanks and hopes for future trade. One elder lifted her hand in blessing, then pressed a small crystal talisman into the princess's palm. "For protection on your journey," the elder said. Selina accepted it with gratitude, feeling its cool weight. The soldier noted her collection of gifts, growing, and gently suggested they continue before she became overwhelmed. Outside the hall, a balcony overlooked the sea of lights below. The soldier led Selina there. The ocean reflected the cities, glow like a field of stars. He offered her a cup of warm spiced tea. She curled her fingers around it, savoring the gentle warmth. "It is nothing like the teas of my home world," she said softly, "but it is kind." The soldier nodded. "Tea is meant to comfort," he replied. "May it give you calm." Selena took a sip and closed her eyes. She felt peace, despite the many eyes on her. As they spoke, a delegation of military officers approached. They bowed to the soldier and princess. One officer presented a holochart of the next diplomatic mission, a summit on Zurak Station, where energy shortages threatened several systems. The soldier studied the chart. "We can help with Earth's power technology," he said, "but you will need to speak for your people." Selina glanced at the star map, then back at the delegation. Her voice was steady. "I will attend the summit," she said, "and I will ask my council to approve the energy transfer." The officers looked surprised. They had expected a formal envoy, not a timid princess, yet her clear tone left no doubt. Later that evening, the soldier escorted Selina to the guest quarters. The room was simple: a single bed, a desk, and a window overlooking the city spires. Selina set down her gifts and unwrapped a small metal flower, a symbol of gratitude from a young ambassador. She placed it on the desk, then sat on the bed, folding her hands. The soldier closed the door behind him. They stood in silence for a moment. Finally he said, "You did well today." Selina's eyes misted. "I was afraid I would fail," she admitted. He crossed to her and placed a gentle hand on her shoulder. "You did not," he said. "You surprised them all." That night, Selina dreamed of silver forests and floating rivers on Vareth. She saw herself standing tall among her people, guiding them with wisdom. She also dreamed of the human soldiers, calm smile, and the endless stars outside her window. When she woke, the first light of aurora filtered through the crystal. She rose and looked out at the city, no longer trembling but filled with resolve. The next morning, they attended a council of ambassadors. Selina wore a simple gown of pale blue, her hair braided with silver threads. She took her seat beside the soldier. When the chair called her name, she stood and spoke of her world's willingness to share its life force technology to power struggling systems. Her words were sincere and clear. Ambassadors exchanged impressed glances. She answered questions with thoughtful honesty. The soldier watched with pride as the princess, once deemed weak, demonstrated strength and diplomacy. After the meeting, a group of engineers invited the princess to examine a prototype power node. They walked through corridors of humming machinery. Selina's curiosity showed as she asked detailed questions. The engineers watched in awe. One whispered, "She understands this better than our technocrats." Selina blushed, but asked for guidance. The soldier stood back, allowing her to shine. That evening, Selina and the soldier walked along a floating garden terrace, bioluminescent. Flowers glowed softly, and fountains danced in midair. The princess reached out to touch a blossom, marveling at its texture. The soldier offered her a hand. She slipped her fingers into his. "Thank you for bringing me here," she said. "I never thought I could do so much." He gently squeezed her hand. "You have always had it within you," he replied. "I only saw what you needed to believe." As they returned to the guest quarters, Selina felt a new confidence growing in her. The city of Aurora had tested her fears and shown her hidden strengths. By the time they reached her door, she walked with steady steps. The soldier opened the door for her and she turned to him with a grateful smile. "Tonight I dream of hope," she said. "Dude." and tomorrow we will bring that hope to many worlds, as she closed the door behind her, ready for whatever the next day would bring, knowing that the weakest princess had begun to reveal her true power. As dawn broke over Aurora, the human soldier and Princess Selena prepared to depart for Xerax Station. A sleek transport vessel waited at the crystalline port. Its hull shimmered with adaptive camouflage. Selena adjusted her pale blue gown. Feeling more confident now, the soldier watched her, offering a reassuring nod. Together they stepped aboard and settled into the observation deck. Through the panoramic window, they saw Aurora's spires fade into starlight as the vessel slipped into hyperspace. Xerax Station was a ring of platforms encircling a neutron star. Its gravity wells and magnetic fields powered the habitats. Station served as a hub for trade, diplomacy, and scientific research. When they arrived, Selena gasped at the sight of engineers monitoring glowing panels and diplomats hurrying between meetings. The soldier led her through crowded corridors, past floating service drones and chatter in many tongues. His arm no longer trembling, but steady, ready for the challenges ahead. Inside the grand conference chamber, representatives from 8 systems waited behind long tables. At the center stood a crystalline lectern. The station's governor, a dignified figure with silvery skin and 3 eyes, called the meeting to order. He spoke of the energy crisis and the need for cooperation. Then he introduced the human soldier and Princess Selena. The room fell silent. Eyes turned toward Selena, curious about this fragile princess from Verith who dared to speak for Earth. Selena stepped forward, her voice clear but gentle. She described her world's life force bond and offered to share its energy matrix designs. She said that her people had mastered the art of balancing living energy without harming the source. The room stirred. Some delegates looked skeptical, while others leaned forward in interest. Selena spoke of unity and trust, reminding them that a shared crisis required shared solutions. Her words carried the quiet strength of her own journey. Once weak, now unwavering in purpose. After her speech, the floor opened for questions. A delegate from the mining colonies asked how they could adapt life force tech in harsh environments. Selena replied simply, with care and respect, "Learn from the source, then listen to it." An engineer from the water worlds inquired about resource limits. Selena answered, "All energy has limits. We track them with living markers and renew what we use." Her answers were honest and concise. The delegates nodded, impressed that the timid princess understood complex science. Next, a crisis arose. Alarms rang through the chamber as a nearby power grid overloaded. Emergency lights bathed the walls in red. Panic spread. The governor shouted for calm. The human soldier rose, moving to inspect a hollow panel. Selena joined him, studying the data. She traced fault lines with her fingertip. Her eyes glowed briefly with concentration. Then she touched the panel. Soft pulse of life force energy flowed into the system, easing the overload. The light shifted from red to amber, then green. The grid stabilized. Murmurs filled the chamber. Delegates stared in awe. The governor approached Selena. "How did you do that?" he asked. Selena looked at the soldier, then spoke. "My people share a bond with living systems. I felt the strain and guided it back to balance." Bowed deeply. Delegates applauded. The human soldier smiled proudly at Selena's quiet heroism. He realized that her hidden gift went beyond diplomacy and theory. It was a true life force connection that few could match. Later, the station held a banquet in their honor. Long tables carried dishes from 18 worlds, luminescent fruits, crystallized grains, and spiced nectar. Selena sampled each dish, her face lighting up at new flavors. The soldier watched her delight. They shared stories of home. He spoke of Earth's green forests and blue oceans. She spoke of Verith's silver trees and floating rivers. Laughter echoed through the hall, bridging cultures. Delegates joined in, eager to learn and share. As the banquet ended, an engineer handed Selena a small device. It was a LifeCo recorder used to store living bond signatures so others can learn, the engineer said. Selena smiled and took it. She felt its warmth, a fitting gift for the journey ahead. The human soldier placed a hand on her shoulder. "We have shown them unity," he said. "Together, we can bring hope to many more." Selina nodded, her eyes shining with purpose. That night, Selina and the soldier returned to their quarters aboard the transport vessel. Selina placed the recorder on the desk and closed her eyes. She thought of her home world, of the trust between her people and their living planet. She also thought of the battles, the council halls, and the tests she had faced. She realized that her journey had only just begun. The soldier sat beside her and offered a simple cup of warm tea. Selina accepted, feeling its comfort. She looked at him and said softly, "Tonight I dream of balance," he responded, "and tomorrow we will share it with the galaxy." The vessel rose into hyperspace. Selina gazed at the stars beyond the window. Each point of light held a world in need of hope and unity. She squeezed the teacup in her hand, ready to face whatever trials awaited. In the quiet hum of the engines, the weakest princess found her strength, and she knew that together with the human soldier, they would change the galaxy for the better. The transport vessel glided through hyperspace toward the next destination, the mineral world of Arxia. Princess Selena sat by the window, tracing constellations with her fingertip. The human soldier observed her calm features under the soft glow of the cabin lights. They had won allies at Zyrax Station, but both sensed that trials still lay ahead. Arxia's crystals could power entire systems, yet its rulers distrusted outsiders. The princess and soldier prepared for a delicate mission. When they emerged from hyperspace, Arxia's rings of glowing crystals came into view. The planet rotated slowly beneath them, its surface dotted with refineries and high spires. The landing port was a cluster of floating platforms tethered by energy cables. As they descended, Selina straightened her gown and steadied her breathing. The soldier placed a reassuring hand on her arm. She nodded and followed him onto the platform. Governor Maldor of Arxia awaited them. His tall frame was draped in robes woven from crystal fibers. His eyes, dark and precise, studied the visitors. He greeted them with formality but did not smile. The soldier offered a respectful bow, and Selina curtsied. Maldor spoke. "We welcome those who seek honest trade, but Arxia will not bow to empty promises." His tone was firm. Selina held her composure and replied, "We come to share resources and build unity. Our offer is sincere." They walked through the governor's hall, walls lined with polished crystal panels. Sunlight filtered through, casting rainbow prisms on the floor. Maldor explained Arxia's history, a world born from meteor impacts, rich in rare crystals that held immense power. He warned that greed had once led to war and ruin. Selina listened intently, her understanding of life force balance giving her insight. She spoke softly. "Power without respect brings harm. We pledge to honor your world's legacy." The governor gestured to a demonstration chamber.
There.
Engineers displayed crystal cores pulsing with stored energy. They proposed sharing designs to adapt these cores for life force integration. Selina examined the cores, feeling their hum. She reached out and pressed her palm gently to the nearest core. A faint pulse echoed through her as if the crystal recognized her bond. The engineers watched in astonishment as the crystal's glow steadied, its vibrations smoothing. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Maldor's eyes narrowed. He asked, "Do you speak of bond? Our crystals demand focus and skill." Selina replied, "My people bond with living energy. You can learn to bond with crystal energy, too, if you allow guidance." The governor exchanged a glance with his chief advisor, a stern woman with silver hair. After a moment, Maldor nodded. "We will test your methods. If you succeed, Arxia will share its crystals." He sounded cautious but intrigued. The first test began in a chamber filled with shifting energy fields. Machines hummed as they simulated overload conditions. Alder's engineers set the parameters to push the cores beyond safe limits. Tension built as alarms chimed. Selina closed her eyes and breathed deeply. The soldier stood by, ready to intervene. She placed both hands on the core's control panel. Her voice was steady as she instructed the system. Listen to the crystal. Find its calm center. The crystal core's glow glimmered brightly, then pulsed in time with Selena's words. Alarms ceased as energy fluctuations stabilized. The core's hum became a soothing resonance. The engineers checked their readings. The core had held stable. Far beyond its rated threshold, astonishment filled the room. Maldor approached. He examined the monitors, then looked at Selena. "You have done what our finest technicians could not," he said. "Your bond is real." That evening they dined in Arxia's grand banquet hall. Tables of crystal glass held savory dishes infused with mineral salts and exotic fruits. Zena sampled the flavors, savoring the blend of sweet and temps. The soldier raised a toast. 2 new bonds and shared futures. Guests clinked glasses of sparkling crystal wine. Laughter rang out, but Maldor remained reserved, observing the interactions. Closely after the banquet, private talks began. Maldor and Selena met alone in his study, walls lined with history scrolls. He thanked Selena for proving her method, yet he warned, some on Arxia will oppose sharing crystals. They fear losing power. Selena nodded. Understand, true unity requires trust. We must show all people that cooperation helps everyone. Maldor studied her sincerity. Then you must meet the Council of Elders, he said. Their hearts hold the key. The next morning, Selena and the soldier walked to the Elders' conclave, a circular chamber carved into a crystal cavern. 12 elders sat on floating platforms, their faces unreadable. The soldier stood aside, allowing Selena to speak first. She bowed respectfully. Then she spoke of Earth's victories, Zyrax's energy revival, and Arxia's successful test. Her words carried the weight of her actions and the promise of balance. She offered to teach any willing elder the bonding technique. Questions followed. An elder with deep-set eyes asked how life force tech would affect Arxia's ecology. Selena explained that their teaching would include respect for natural limits and renewal cycles. Another elder, a scholar of crystal lore, questioned whether the technique could be reversed if misused. Yet Selena assured them balance must be monitored. We create safeguards to protect your world. As she answered, the elders exchanged thoughtful glances. After hours of discussion, the eldest elder rose. Her voice was gentle but firm. We have heard your promise and seen your gift. Arxia will join this alliance on the condition that your methods remain in our care. Selena bowed, relief warming her heart. The elder continued, we will train our people and share knowledge. May this bond guide us. Through the cavern, and Selena allowed herself a rare, bright smile. As they left the conclave, rain began to fall outside, each drop sparkling like crystal shards. Selena felt the freshness on her skin and closed her eyes. She turned to the soldier. We have bridged another world, she said softly. He nodded, pride shining in his eyes. Your courage and gift brought trust, he replied. Selena touched the crystal pendant at her neck, a gift from Maldor. Its facets glowed faintly, a reminder of her bond with Arxia. The mission to Arxia had tested them with doubt and caution. Yet through respect, sincerity, and the princess's unique bond, they had forged a new alliance. As the transport vessel prepared to depart, Selena looked back at the rain-drenched spires. Each drop whispered of renewal and shared strength. She felt her own confidence solidify. The galaxy's challenges remained vast, but together with the human soldier, she would meet each one, guided by trust and the surprising power within the weakest princess. As the transport vessel left Arxia behind, the human soldier and Princess Selena set course for Kellis, a frontier world scarred by mechanical war forges. Reports said the forges once served in a lost army, but had become rogue, attacking settlers and cutting off supply lines. The Alliance hoped to reclaim Kellis as a symbol of unity. Selena reviewed data on the forge's patterns, while the soldier checked the transport's defenses. Both felt the weight of their mission. When they entered Kellis's atmosphere, they saw cities half buried in ash and twisted metal. Black smoke rose from ruined factories. Survivors crowded around aid stations, their eyes hollow with fear. The The soldier led Selena through the fume-choked streets, offering water and blankets. To those they met, Selena spoke kindly, assuring them that help had come. Children pressed forward, reaching for her hand. She knelt and smiled, touching each palm gently. Even in ruin, her quiet compassion shone. They arrived at the control outpost where engineers and diplomats gathered in a reinforced dome. Governor Talus greeted them with relief. His cloak was faded, his face lined with worry. "We cannot stop the forges," he said. "They adapt too fast." The soldier nodded. "We will help," he promised. Selena added, "I feel the life force in living systems. Perhaps I can link with their core and guide them back to purpose." Talus eyed her doubtfully, but agreed to the plan. That night, the dome's alarms sounded. Through reinforced windows, the forge's glowing red optics advanced, cutting through the dark. Sirens wailed. The soldier grabbed Selena's arm.
Out.
"It begins," he said. They raced to the dome's entrance as technicians locked heavy doors. Outside, mechanical limbs ground against reinforced barriers. Sparks flew as metal tore through. The soldier stood ready with a plasma rifle, while Selena closed her eyes and focused inside the rubble. Selena reached out with her mind, seeking the faint hum of living energy. She found it tangled with the forge's power core's remnants, of organic circuits fused to metal. Her bond with life force extended like a gentle thread into the chaos. She whispered, "Listen to the balance." Hey. Around her, the forges hesitated. Metal joints slowed. The soldier fired warning shots into the sky. The red glow of the optics dimmed to orange, then to dull amber. The dome doors opened. Lena stepped forward, her arms outstretched. She spoke softly, guiding the life force thread into the forge's cores. One by one, the machines powered down, their weapons folding into their frames. The survivors watched in awe as silent giants stood motionless. Talus and his engineers rushed forward to secure the area. Selena sank to her knees, exhausted but calm, the following morning. The Alliance held a ceremony in Kellis's central square. Settlers brought flowers and fruit baskets. Banners of Arxia, Aurora, and Earth fluttered side by side. Selena stood before a dais beside the soldier. Governor Talus spoke. "This world would have fallen, but you showed us that unity can tame even the fiercest machines." He placed a wreath of metal petals around Selena's shoulders. She bowed her head in humble thanks. After the ceremony, the soldier and Selena toured reclaimed neighborhoods. Children ran to greet them, laughter echoing in clean streets. Selena walked among families rebuilding homes, offering words of encouragement. The soldier oversaw the reactivation of life support systems in hospitals. Together, they ensured that Kellis's people could return to their daily lives without fear. That evening, Selena and the soldier sat on a hill overlooking the square, now lit with lanterns.
Ow.
The air smelled of fresh bread and repaired engines. Selena held a cup of warm tea, her hands steady. "I did not know I could connect with machines," she said. The soldier smiled. "Your gift adapts to need," he replied. "You bring balance to living things and to metal hearts." She looked at him with gratitude. As they spoke, Talus approached, bearing a small device made from reclaimed forge parts. "A gift from our people," he said. The device hummed with a faint pulse. Selena accepted it, feeling a bond to Kellis. She placed it beside her own Lifeco recorder. Together, they held symbols of worlds reborn through unity. Before departing, Selena addressed the settlers one last time. She spoke of hope and cooperation, urging them to stay vigilant and to help neighboring systems. The crowd cheered, their voices carrying across the valley. The soldier lined up transport pods to bring supplies to remote outposts. In every action, he demonstrated that alliances born of trust and shared purpose could overcome any challenge. As the vessel rose into the sky, Selena looked down at Kellis, its scars now healing. She felt strength in her bond with life force, machines, and people alike. The soldier sat beside her, their hands brushing. Together they had faced fear and forged new paths. Their journey toward the final Alliance summit would test them further, but after taming the mechanical storm, they knew they could meet any trial with unity, courage, and the surprising power that lay within the weakest princess. The transport vessel glided toward the Alliance summit on Celesta, a world of glass domes and peaceful valleys. Princess Selena stood at the observation window, her life-echo recorder and Arxia's crystal pendant resting on the console. The human soldier joined her, offering a warm smile. They had traveled through 6 worlds, building trust and unity. The final test awaited them. To bring all allied leaders together and unveil the true power of their bond. As they entered Celesta's atmosphere, fields of lavender and silver trees stretched below. The captain announced their arrival, and Selena took a steady breath. She thought back to the dusty council hall where she first met the soldier. She remembered her trembling hand and his gentle promise to keep her safe. She smiled at how far she had come from weakest princess to unifier of worlds. They disembarked at the summit grounds, a wide plaza surrounded by grand pavilions. Leaders from Earth, Aurora, Arxia, Xerax, Kellis, and other worlds gathered in small groups, greeting one another with polite bows and cautious glances. Banners of many colors waved in the breeze. The soldier and Selena walked hand in hand toward the main stage. Whispers followed them. How did the weakest princess achieve so much? What secret does she carry? On the stage, a long table held crystal microphones and documents for signing the Alliance Treaty. The governor of Celesta stepped forward and opened the ceremony. He spoke of peace, prosperity, and shared futures. Then he introduced the human soldier and Princess Selena. Applause filled the plaza. Selena rose and stepped to the center, her calm presence commanding attention despite her simple dress. She began with Earth's victory over the Shadow Fleet, then recounted their journey: Xerax's energy rebirth, Arxia's crystal bond, Kellis's mechanical forges tamed. She spoke of unity born from trust, respect, and life force harmony. As she spoke, a soft glow emanated from her crystal pendant. Listeners watched as the light pulsed gently with each word, matching her heartbeat. When she finished, the plaza fell silent. Then Selena revealed the true reason the soldier had chosen her. She held up her LifeCo recorder and explained its purpose: to store the living bond signatures that connected her people to their planet, and now connected her to every world they had aided. She spoke of the life force thread she wove through each crisis, balancing systems and guiding energies to harmony. The soldier stepped forward and placed a hand on Selena's shoulder. He spoke in clear, earnest tones. I chose Princess Selena because she showed me that strength is not measured by power alone. It is measured by the courage to face fear, the wisdom to seek balance, and the compassion to heal wounds. Her gift was hidden beneath her fragile form, and together we unlocked it for the good of all. As his words echoed, the LifeCo recorder projected a 3-dimensional map of their journey above the stage. Glowing lines connected each world, weaving a tapestry of light. Delegates gasped as they saw the bonds linking their home worlds to Selena's life force. The glow expanded to encompass the plaza, bathing every leader in soft light. They felt a shared warmth, a pulse of unity. The governor lifted the Alliance Treaty. Leaders took turns signing, each adding their mark to the document. When the final signature was made, a collective cheer rose. Fireworks bloomed above the domes, casting colors across the valleys. Selena and the soldier embraced, tears of joy in their eyes. They had forged a new era together after the ceremony. Delegates gathered in the celebration halls. Music filled the airsoft flutes from Xerax, crystal chimes from Arxia, rhythmic drums from Kellis. Alina danced with children from Earth. In Aurora, her laughter light. The soldier joined elders from Celesta in a toast of crystal wine and warm tea. Stories were shared, friendships formed. As night fell, Selena and the soldier walked to a quiet garden. Bioluminescent flowers glowed, like stars among silver leaves. Selena placed a hand on her pendant and whispered thanks to her people. The soldier held her close and said, "You have shown the galaxy what hope can do. Your bond with life force has given new life to worlds." Selena smiled, feeling her heart swell with purpose. In the days that followed, Alliance ambassadors used Selena's bonding methods to help restore damaged ecosystems, stabilize power grids, and heal communities. Ships traveled between worlds carrying healers and engineers trained in life force balance. Trade flourished, art and science exchanged freely. The once weak princess became a symbol of unity and resilience. As the summit concluded, Selena and the soldier prepared to return home. The plaza hummed with activity, and banners fluttered in farewell. Selena looked back at the allied leaders, each waving in gratitude. She turned to the soldier and said softly, "I never imagined this journey." He took her hand and replied, "You made it possible by believing in yourself." Their vessel rose into the starlit sky. Below, Celesta's valleys glowed in celebration. Selena rested her head on the soldier's shoulder, content in the knowledge that her gift would guide many. She had learned that weakness can hide true strength. Compassion can forge the strongest bonds. As hyperspace carried them home, Selena closed her eyes and dreamed of new adventures. The galaxy was vast, with challenges yet to face.
But she...
And the soldier would meet each trial together, armed with unity, balance, and the surprising power of the weakest princess.